This is a great story of a person who is not a programmer using no-code solutions to make a SaaS, to make a software as a service that is quickly making $15,000 monthly recurring revenue and growing. That's what this story is. So if you want to hear how a non-programmer is just using no-code tools to make $15,000 a month with a software as a service tool, take a listen to this episode or take a watch. This time I'm recording back in my home. The last couple of episodes I've been out and about recording. This time I am back in my lovely home, sharing to you how Luis Pereira on Twitter, he goes by @Luis Pereira. I'll share his handle in the description, made AudioPen. So here's the description of what you're going to be hearing. So now this is a summary made by the Pat Walls on Twitter, and @ThePatWalls says, wow, $15,000 per month AI app built in 12 hours. Ha! Built in 12 hours. I forgot that part. Built in 12 hours, designed in Figma for free, built with no code using Bubble, which is $30 a month, live tweeted building the product. So he's doing build in public. Startup costs $200. Solopreneur, 1 founder, 0 employees. Validation, paying customers on day 1. And so here is the full story. And this is written now by Luis Pereira on starterstory.com. This is called The App I Built in 12 Hours Now Makes $15,000 per month. It's very short. I think you're going to enjoy it. Hello, who are you? And what business did you start? I'm Luis, and I'm the founder of AudioPen. I'm a part-time indie hacker on the internet. During the day, I work with my family business in the offline world, and at night, I build assets on the internet. As of right now, my most successful product has been AudioPen.ai, a tool that transcribes and transforms voice notes. Currently, it makes about $15,000 each month. What's your backstory and how did you come up with the idea? I've always been a dabbler. I've been dabbling online for a few years, and I tried my luck at a range of experiments. I started newsletters, I built websites, I built web apps, I even built web apps for other people. In March 2023, I was, as usual, experimenting with the latest wave of AI APIs. I built 4 tiny products within a week and hosted them on my personal website. I shared each of my tools with other people on Twitter. One of the tools struck a chord more than others. That was AudioPen. So I decided I'd build it as a standalone product. And now here's a quote. AudioPen has been profitable since day 1. I keep my costs low because I'm a team of 1. I don't spend on ads or paid marketing. I only spend on tools that will help improve the customer experience. So he's asked, take us through the process of building the first version of your product. And Luis says, I'm not a designer. I'm also not a developer. However, I like to think I have good taste. Don't we all? And I can be quite scrappy and piece together MVPs using no-code tools without too much of an issue. If you're curious, my preferred tool is bubble.io. So he shares his designs, and then he says, I set about designing AudioPen.ai in Figma, which is free, and after some trial and error, I began building the actual product in Bubble, costs approximately $30 per month. The MVP took me about 12 hours to build. I've spent months refining it ever since. Isn't that amazing? This guy, so he had a bit of an existing audience, but not a big one, around 10,000 people on X. This guy spent 12 hours building his MVP. Other people spend weeks, months, years sometimes. Even if it's software, I've heard of people spending years. He spent 12 hours. Oh my gosh. And then launched it and got customers right away. Wow. Using Bubble. If this isn't an ad for Bubble, I mean, I'm sure this is actually not an ad for Bubble, but it would also work as a great ad for Bubble because I think lots of people listening are probably thinking, I want to try Bubble. Crazy. I mean, I'm thinking that. Okay. Describe the process of launching the business. I built the first version of AudioPen.ai during an event that I used to organize called Half Day Build, a hackathon in which people aim to go from idea to revenue in 12 hours. Because of this, I was forced to build the simplest version of the product that people might pay for. And I did. And they did. I live tweeted throughout the build. That helped me create some hype around it. I shared images of what I was building and shared the process with folks. It helped me get my initial set of beta testers, some of which actually paid for the product. Here's the thread on the half-day build. So this thread is short. I read it myself, and it's worth reading, which is why I'm going to read it to you right now. So Luis says, and this is on Twitter now, on X, and he says, and so it begins. This hashtag half-day build, I'm building AudioPen. an app that lets you record voice notes and converts them into clearly reworded text. Follow this thread for updates as I aim to go from idea to revenue within 12 hours. Before I get started, here's a mini version of the app that I built last week. You can try it out and register to be notified when the full version is ready later today. I'm building with Bubble and OpenAI, fueled by some great Indian coffee by Blue Tokai Coffee. And then he shares the Figma designs. This is roughly the look I'll be going for. Made these in Figma last night, so I didn't have to spend time fussing over design decisions today. Coming along nicely, he shares screenshots. I'm looking for a couple of volunteers. This is still in the thread, still within the 12 hours. I'm looking for a couple of volunteers to try out the product before I release it publicly. If you're interested, please comment below. I'll contact you in a few hours when it's ready. Thanks. The rest of the tweets in this thread get maybe one comment max, but this tweet in the thread, which is, does anyone want to beta test this? This gets 15 comments. So he got beta testers. And then I'm like, okay, how many followers does he have? And then I looked. He has 11.3 thousand followers, but I'm sure he got followers from doing this as well. So I think it's safe to say he had like around 10,000 followers. One of the reasons I like this so much is because I recently shared, I'll give you the episode, but it was a tweet thread by this woman, Nadia Kordadzi, and she wrote this amazing thread, How to Grow on Twitter. And she really gave, it was 32 pieces of advice, but it's concrete, actionable advice. And she gave great stuff in this thread, and I read it on the podcast. That episode is episode 333. It was just a few days ago, and it's called How to Grow Fast on Twitter X in 2024. And it really is about growing fast. Nadia grew pretty quickly herself, and she shares the things that she wished she knew before she started, the things she learned along the ways that was working. So she got to a big audience. But what do you do when you develop an audience on X? Luis Pereira used no-code tools to build a software as a service and do build in public, sharing as he was building. Did this in a couple of hours, but he had been building other things and sharing it, but still did build in public, got beta testers right away, shared the results, and is now making $15,000 a month. And I'm going to share some of the things that he was doing for marketing as well. So he gets his beta testers. Then he said, sent beta tester invites to a bunch of people, time to get some dinner before working on their feedback, aiming to ship within the next hour. My beta testers are the best. He had literally customers from the beta testers. Some of his beta testers converted right away into paying customers of $19 MRR each. The product costs $19 a month, and 4 of them converted, and he shares Stripe conversions. So then he launches it. He says, we have liftoff. And then he tweets, and this is the last part of the thread. He says, just broke even and turned a small profit over my immediate expenses. Time to sleep and worry about next month's bills in the morning. So revenue was $209. By the end of this, expenses was $183. He bought a domain for 2 years. That was $139. Bubble plan, which was monthly, which was $29. Progressier plan, which was $15. So back to this article that he wrote. So he launches it. His launch message is introducing AudioPen, an app that converts your voice notes into concisely summarized text. No more filler words, repeated sentences, and unnecessary ums. With AudioPen, you can think, finally, literally think out loud, ramble away. So you just ramble, and then AudioPen uses the OpenAI API to turn your ramblings into something coherent that you can read and share. And he has great copy. He says, go from fuzzy thought to clear text fast. All right, the next question is, since launch, what has worked to attract and retain customers? Lewis says, I'm a one-person team, so I like to keep things simple. My main focus has always been on the product. Since day one, I've relied mainly on word of mouth to find new customers. Besides that, I also have an affiliate program which helps incentivize word of mouth. In order to keep existing customers engaged, I use email updates. I think they're underutilized, especially for young products. I do my best to write regular update emails and add a personal touch to each one. I really like that. So he has an affiliate program. He's doing email updates. He gets word of mouth. Affiliate program makes a lot of sense. He says adding a personal touch to the email updates helps existing users become a part of the product's journey and also opens up a direct line of communication with them, one that is invaluable for a fledgling product. We're almost done now. He's asked, how are you doing today and what does the future look like? Lewis writes, AudioPen has been profitable since day one. I keep my costs low because I'm a team of one. I don't spend on ads or paid marketing. I only spend on tools that will help improve the customer experience. The biggest cost comes from the AI APIs I use, but the business wouldn't be possible without them, so I gladly pay their bills each month. As a product grows, I might hire a person to help me manage it. For now, I am still enjoying the process. And he ends and he says, the biggest takeaway is that momentum should never be taken for granted. If you have momentum, grab it with both your hands and hold on for dear life. So shout out to Lewis. I think it's such a cool story, something that a lot of people can do. A lot of people can build an audience. A lot of people can use no-code tools. A lot of people can try different things or stick with one thing and build users for that and iterate on that. And shout out for what he's done. This is a great story. So this is episode 337 of my daily growth hacking, growth marketing, digital marketing, entrepreneurship. This is my podcast, The Edward Show. I love sharing things like this. I love sharing stories like this. I love inspiring people or giving people direct, actionable advice. I personally find this stuff fun and fascinating, and that's why I like to share it. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you again. Do this thing 7 days a week, every day. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.